Hello, everyone. To be conscious of everybody's time, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you again for your interest in the Global Energy Management Program here at the University of Colorado, Denver. My name is Nate Holt, and I'm the Graduate Enrollment Advisor here with the GEM program. We're extremely excited to have you join us today, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. We know going back to school is a big time decision, and with all of the options, graduate school options in this day and age, we understand how critical it is to do adamant research and make sure that you're choosing the right program for you. Therefore, today we wanted to bring you GEM alumni across all sectors of the energy industry to talk about their experiences in the program and discuss how the GEM program continues to benefit them well past graduation. So before we go ahead and get started with our Q&A session, I wanted to do a brief overview of the GEM program for those of you that may not be as familiar with us. So the GEM program is an industry-focused graduate level program that offers multiple different options to fit our students' needs. So our main option is an 18-month hybrid online Master's of Science degree program. We also offer 2 graduate level certificates focusing on global energy leadership and workforce and global energy financial management certificates. Both of those are 3 courses long. And they are the same courses and course structure as our master's degree, so they are 3 credits, so it gives you the option to test out the program and dip your toe in the water, so to say, and still get that credit to later seek the full degree if you choose to do so. And then, of course, our last option is a professional development non-degree option, which gives you the ability to take up to 3 classes in a non-degree format. Gives you the ability to pick and choose what classes best fit your needs if you're not seeking a master's degree. This is a good option for energy professionals that are looking to really hone in on a specific skill set. Overall, with the GEM program, to go in a little bit of detail about who we are 100% energy focused program, so it will be similar to the curriculum of an MBA, but all of your curriculum will be 100% focused on the energy industry. The CU Denver Business School is AACSB accredited. Only 5% of business schools across the world receive full accreditation from AACSB. So this ensures the quality of your education and the type of education that you'll receive through the GEM program. As I mentioned, the GEM program is delivered in a hybrid online, a blended curriculum delivery. The program is structured for full-time working professionals in the energy industry. So the master's degree is 18 months long. That's broken into 6 quarters, and your quarters will be about 10 weeks long. And at the start of each quarter, we'll have our cohort weekends, and those are the first 4 days of each quarter. So that is a Friday through Monday. All of our students are going to come in on campus for those first 4 days. And this creates a really unique environment where you have energy professionals coming in from all sectors and all over the country and all over the world. And that's who you're going to be learning from, as well as your adjunct faculty who are coming from with extensive energy experience as well. And lastly, we really value our partnership with the energy industry. And we do a lot of things within the industry as, for example, we do such things as our speaker series. We host industry speakers throughout the year that come in and do industry topics. We have our Executive in Residence program, which brings 2 energy executives from the industry, from different sectors of the industry each quarter, and that will give you the ability to meet with them one-on-one, go to lunch with them in a group setting. They'll be mentors for you, and we've seen our students really take advantage of that, and our alumni will talk a little bit more about that in our Q&A session as well, and what that's done for them. Moving forward, talking a little bit about the GEM program and where we are coming from. So we've been around since 2008. Right now we have right around 385 alumni and students. You can see that's broken down pretty evenly between students from Colorado and outside of Colorado. As I mentioned before, the program is AACSB accredited, which is should be a key determination in choosing the right graduate program for you. 95% of GEM students are currently working in the industry. So this is really key when you're making a decision for the right program for you, because everybody that's associated with the program gives you the opportunity to learn from them, and a high level of and the high quality of your classmates that you'll have in the program. It really opens a lot of doors for you, and we've seen that do a lot for our students. Our faculty are also coming in with extensive energy experience themselves, so this really provides a unique atmosphere for our students. This allows them to really dive deep into the industry, and you think that if you coming in with an extensive amount of experience, this still opens a lot of doors for you, just because everybody is coming in with different backgrounds and different levels of experience and from different sectors of the industry. And at the bottom of this page, you can also see here that students are going to come from all over the world. So you will have that global flavor within your class as well. So we have international students come in every start date. So that is definitely something that you can expect within the program. So obviously a big question in choosing the right program for you is, what will my curriculum look like? So the GEM program is a total of 12 classes. That's broken down into 8 core classes, which you will look at and see that it is similar to an MBA, but all of your coursework and everything you do will be 100% focused on the energy industry. So your group projects, your individual projects, your online discussion boards, everything is 100% focused in the industry. And our alumni will talk in detail about that with the questions that you sent in prior to this webcast. So you have the 8 core classes, and then you will have a total of 3 electives, 9 credit hours. That gives you the flexibility to do different things. So your cohort will vote on 3 electives. You also have the opportunity to do our travel courses, which we highly recommend. There's a 3-day Washington, D.C. travel course that focuses on domestic policy. And then there is a 5-day London course that is 2 credit hours, and that focuses on international policy. And that is a really great opportunity to enhance your overall experience in the program. And we have some questions about those travel courses that we'll cover in our Q&A session. And then your final class will be a capstone course bringing together the entire program, which will be one final project, really bringing together everything that you've learned throughout the entire program in a current industry topic to focus your final project on. So we do want to be considerate of everybody's time, so we will move forward. We have a great panel here for you with alumni ranging from all different sectors of the industry with a variety of different experience. So we'll ask our alumni to join now, and we will get going here and start right away with the Q&A. So before we get started, I will ask our panelists a series of questions. Before that first question, I'll ask our panelists to introduce themselves and say a few words about themselves. So we will go ahead and get started. And our first question is going to be from cohort 16 graduate, Natasha Herring. Natasha, do you believe the GEM program has made you a more dynamic energy professional? And can you provide an example of how you use what you've learned in the GEM program in your career?
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Natasha Herring. Thanks, Nathan. I just recently graduated from the GEM program. It's about last month, still August. I currently work at Navigant Consulting. I work in the utility services industry, mostly doing evaluation work. And been at Navigant for about 3 years. And so when I think about the GEM program, I definitely think it's made me a more dynamic energy professional. I think one of the things that drew me to the program was just the ability to see the program, or excuse me, to see the energy industry at a much larger view. I think I have a very specific or narrow view with utilities, but to kind of figure out how that fits in with oil and gas, how that fits in with renewables, and how all of those kind of come together. And I think the GEM program provides that, and not only just for a United States perspective, but also for a global perspective. And not only just in classes, but there's also travel courses. So in that way, I definitely think it's made me a much more dynamic individual or energy professional. And then if I think of examples of how I've used what I've learned specifically, one is just confidence in general. I don't want to underestimate that. I think the GEM program has given me a ton of confidence just in myself, and also, a vast amount of knowledge to go along with that. And then also is just the ability to engage with directors and managing directors and other people across my company and the industry. So, which, leads to relationships and kind of networking and those sorts of things. And so that's been extremely valuable. I've been able to kind of switch some of my project work at work to be a little bit more in the transportation industry. That's something of interest to me. And I kind of credit some of that confidence and that networking and kind of building those relationships to the GEM program, and just being able to converse about industry issues that are going on, or being, knowledgeable about certain things in the industry. So it definitely has raised my, energy IQ, you could say, and that's been beneficial for me. And because I just graduated, I look forward to the other ways that GEM will benefit me in the future.
That's great. Thank you, Natasha. Our next question is going to be from cohort 13 graduate, Laura Sluter. Laura, how has the GEM program impacted your career, and has it helped you reach your goals? And again, if you could say a few words to introduce yourself and a little bit about your background.
Sure. My name is Laura Sluter, and I'm a landman for an exploration and production company in the oil and gas industry. It's a mid-sized company based out of Denver. So the GEM program, I feel like, not just helped my career, but it literally catapulted it. A few months after I graduated, I was approached by this company, and they offered me a senior role, which I was a landman before, but they offered me a senior role. I'd only had 7 years experience in the industry, and I think from the job description, I think the minimum experience required was 10 years. And so it kind of catapulted me into this leadership role. As far as compensation, it was, a 22% increase, and they put a high value on the higher education, and specifically the GEM program, because it focuses so much on the energy industry. So it was very applicable to my career.
That's great. Thank you, Laura. Thanks for sharing that insight. Our next question is, next couple questions that have come in are from cohort 6 graduate, Roger Hemminghaus. Roger, if you could say a few words about yourself a little bit, and then answer our question. What is your opinion on having energy professionals across all sectors in the same classroom, and was this beneficial to you?
Sure, thanks. So Roger Hemminghaus, I'm with Xcel Energy. We're a electric and gas utility that serves basically Texas Panhandle through Colorado and the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I'm actually sitting in Minnesota right now. But in my role is Director of Enterprise Transformation Office, so think large corporate projects. And if I think on the GEM program, I think it was awesome having a cross-section of industries involved in the program. Our cohort was roughly kind of a third. When I think of it, about a third oil and gas, a third utilities, and then a third kind of on the downstream energy efficiency, demand side management side of the equation. And it was great to see all the different perspectives. I mean, it is very interconnected. And even going down a level from that, we had, people from different areas of those companies. I mean, we had landmen, we had geologists, we had linemen, we had, folks in project offices, finance. I was actually in HR at the time. And so you got to have a depth of conversations and got to learn a little bit more about what makes some of the other companies in the value chain tick. So, utilities have a unique revenue model and very different motivating factors in some cases than, say your oil and gas. And so you can ask questions of your peers in your cohort that you certainly couldn't be asking when you're in a negotiation or something like that. So it was a really good opportunity to learn from your peers in other industries.
That's great. Thanks, Roger. I'm going to come right back to you with another question. So I am a utility professional. Does this program provide you with real world knowledge that is relatable to your industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I was in cohort 6. The program originally started really heavy in the oil and gas side, but then, as you think of what went on in the industry since 2008 and kind of the natural gas revolution, and the changes that we've seen, it is so much, it's always been interconnected, but even so much more so now. And so to really understand across that value chain and those connections, to really kind of understand on the E&P side what's driving the price of natural gas, and then on the utility side, some of what that drives in terms of changing the value prop around renewables and nuclear and coal and our sources. And then on the downstream side, understanding a little bit more about what the customer and what the customers are asking for on the DSM renewable side of the house as well. So it's been a really interesting seeing especially after coming out of the program, starting to make more of those connections with the knowledge that I had coming out of the program in what I see in a day-to-day various pressures as a company.
That's awesome. Thanks, Roger. Laura, I'm going to come back to you with somewhat of a similar question. Was the curriculum relevant to your career? But can you provide some specific examples of courses that had a positive impact on your career?
Yeah, sure. They absolutely had a great impact. I know that the energy law class was directly helpful to my career. As a landman, we work on the legal side of the oil and gas business, so that was really helpful. But also, I'm a firm believer in that when you understand the big picture of your company and the industry as a whole, you can do your job better. And I think that's what a lot of these classes did. It just rounded out my understanding of the industry. So finance, for example, you start to understand more how the market ticks, how the CFO hedges, how the company acquires capital, and in accounting, one of our books was How to Read a Financial Report, and it was incredibly helpful because I work with accountants daily, and we understand each other better now at this point. So I've become better at my job just because I understand, I guess, the bigger picture. So
that's great. Thank you, Laura. Natasha, I'm going to come to you now. Please keep sending your questions in. We do have a number of questions coming in, so we appreciate everybody sending those in. So Natasha, I'm going to come to you. How has your outlook on the industry changed from the first day of class to now?
My outlook definitely has become more dynamic. I will say, I think when I first started the program, I was definitely an observer. And I feel like the GEM program has really helped me to become more of an engager, and even a contributor. And so now, I think the approach I take when reading things is to really think through what's going on in the industry. With a group of classmates, I published an article through the GEM program. So in that way, I'm even contributing to the industry. And so I think that's something that I did not expect when coming into the GEM program, that could, actually contribute to the industry. Like, you are an energy professional, and that's some of the knowledge you get can really add value and kind of sit at the conversation and have something to say. And so I think that's really how my outlook has changed now. It's how can I engage and how can I contribute, and how can I listen and learn and continue to grow.
Thank you, Natasha. Thanks for the insight on that one. Laura, I'm going to come back to you with a concern. I'm concerned about the online portion of the class. Can you speak to the online portion of the program and how your experience was? And if anybody else has any insight on this, please feel free to chime in.
I was concerned at first too about the online portion, but it ended up being fantastic for me because I have a job and I'm a single mom, and I ended up being able to work, through my lunches and get this stuff done on my schedule and my time. And so for me, that worked out perfectly. You do have to be disciplined because you're your own boss, and so you have to be really disciplined. But also the teachers are very helpful too. They put out the videos weekly that you can watch, and you have discussions. And so you can stay really involved, and the teachers are there if you need extra help as well. So I found it to be really beneficial for me.
That's great. Thanks, Laura. Natasha, I'm going to come back to you a little bit about the student experience. Besides the curriculum, has GEM provided any additional resources that you found beneficial? Has anything exceeded your expectations, and did anything fall short of your expectations?
Sure, and I'll just add something to Laura's comment about the online classes. I travel a lot for work, and so it's really great to have kind of videos accessible on my phone or on my laptop while I'm traveling. And I just want to echo that professors are really, they really want to work with you and make sure you understand the material. So I've definitely, emailed professors in the airport, like my computer died, or I'm going to be in the middle of a plane when the deadline is due and won't have access. And so they really want to work with you, but it's been really a really good experience, I guess, the online portion. So, so back to your question about additional resources. There's two that comes to mind. One is the executives in residence. And so every quarter, there's at least one or two executives in residence where you can set up meetings or have a lunch meeting with them or a one-on-one meeting. And that's been extremely helpful in getting personal advice on career choices, on experiences, and kind of someone who's done it before, who's lived, through recession, or who has managed, multi-million dollar companies, and they just have a wide array of knowledge and experience, and you have direct access to them. So that's a great additional resource, I guess, in addition to classes, in addition to your classmates, to get someone who's actually been there and done that. And then the second thing is conferences, and I've really got to go to a handful and love GEM for that. So I've been to two different conferences that I can think of right now. One was a Women in Energy conference, and one was the International Conference for Energy and Economic Development up in Boulder. And those have been amazing experiences, really, to engage, again, with other professionals or international energy leaders that are leading countries and, running basically markets in other places, and you really have direct access to them. Most of the conferences, at least the ones that I've been to, are relatively small. So it's not, 5,000, 10,000 people there. It's 150, it's 200. So I've been able to meet and talk with various people that I had no idea I could ever have access to, and really engage on industry items, and sometimes even become friends. And so that access and that network is just very invaluable. So I'm very thankful to GEM for those.
Thanks, Natasha. And I think that's really valuable, because I think a lot of people think of graduate school as just classes. And I think it's really valuable to show that inside of additional resources and what else you can get outside of the classroom. And I know that you really took advantage of that. So thanks for sharing your insight. Laura, I'm going to come back to you. Now that you're a few years graduated, I have a question that I think is best tailored for you. Can you provide examples of how you still use what you learned in the GEM program in your career today?
Just echoing what I said earlier with the financing and accounting and just understanding as a whole. But also some of the classes that I grumbled quite a bit about, like the leadership classes or the HR classes, they have actually been really helpful. I'm in a leadership role at this time, and understanding leadership and human resources, they actually came in really helpful. And my teachers will laugh at me because, yeah.
That's great. Thanks. Yeah. Well, and I think that's really important because it's important to see that the coursework continues to pay dividends past graduation, that you're not just in the course for an extended amount of time and then afterwards it's done with. I think it's very important to show that you do continue to learn and you continue to use what you gain from your graduate degree program and utilize that to continue to prosper and grow in your career. So thank you for that. Roger, I'm going to come to you. Another question based on your alumni status. Do alumni stay in touch with their cohorts past graduation? And if so, in what ways?
Of course. So as a matter of fact, I'm meeting with an alum next week, and we're going up in the mountains and do a little hiking trip up there. So, there are alumni events that Jim puts on periodically. Basically, at the start of every cohort, there are some kinds of alumni events to get together. There are the webinars and some of the speaking events, engagements that you can participate in, and you'll run into alums there. Even within companies, so like Excel has somewhere between 8 and 12 GEM alum currently working at the company, and there's a little networking group that gets together, and they have lunch once every couple months or so, and keeps that network going. Also hires. I get to work with a GEM alum every single day, and because I hired one. So get to keep in touch that way. And then probably most importantly is you develop friendships through the process. You spend 12 hours a day plus the social activities during your initial section of each kickoff of each class, and then you have all your projects and whatnot. You develop some lasting friendships. So definitely have some folks that I keep well in touch with through that. So
that's great. Thanks, Roger. Natasha, since our topic is the GEM transformation and we've talked about the experience in the program, we have a question that I thought would be good towards the end here. From your first day of class, have you experienced any career growth? And if so, do you believe that the GEM program helped in that process?
Yes and yes. I've been promoted. So towards the end of the program, I got promoted here. And I do think a lot of that had to do with the GEM program. So I'm very thankful for that. And I think when I think about career growth in general, I feel like the GEM program is like a family. Like I've already met with one of my professors since I've graduated, and talking more about career growth and talking more about things that I'm interested in, things I want to do in my career. And so I really want to hit home, I guess, the access to resources that you have even after you've graduated, that there are, alums, other alums that you can share experiences with and learn from, also the professors and the staff. So that's been helpful as well. But I do think GEM was instrumental in getting that promotion.
Thanks, Natasha. And I think you brought up a really important part there where I know we're focusing on alumni today, but our current students see a tremendous amount of success in their career growth during the program as well. So we see close to 60% of our students receive a promotion from that first day of class and to graduation. So I think that's something that really shows the value that not only do you have success well past graduation, but our students are able to take what they're learning and take it to their career the next day and show that value to their employer. So we have time for a few more questions. Roger, I have a similar question for you. Can you speak to how the GEM program has specifically helped you with your career success?
Sure. Well, so first I'll share kind of story since GEM. So when I went into GEM, I was an entry-level manager in HR. Shortly after coming out of the program, I went into corporate strategy. Then I went to be a kind of a junior director working for one of our C-suite execs as his chief of staff. Then went on to work some large corporate projects, and we're starting up another one right now. But so there's been a good progression since GEM, and fundamentally, I think the program gave a great knowledge set. So you get in the room, and I think of even some of the 101 energy transformations that we did, and going from MMBTUs all the way and talking about heat rates and that sort of thing. You don't get to talk about that much in HR. So that knowledge set, just being in the room with some of these guys that do it every single day, helps you at least ask intelligent questions, even if you don't know the answers. But so good knowledge set, but then also I think most importantly, people see that you're making an investment in yourself. GEM is a substantial investment, but people do recognize that you're making that investment in yourself and making that investment in time as well. And I think if you're in it to get a piece of paper, that's not an automatic promotion. There are a few industries where you get an automatic promotion for getting an MBA or a master's degree these days. However, I think it certainly gives you a leg up. So.
Perfect. Thanks, Roger. We do have time for a couple more questions, so please continue to send those in to us. Natasha, Roger, this might be a good question for both of you, as I know you do quite a bit of travel. The question is, I travel an extensive amount in my career. Can you speak to how you were able to successfully manage both your career and traveling along with the GEM program?
Okay, I'll go first. I will say that the GEM program has a lot of group work, which initially I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. But I think when you're traveling, it's really helpful to have other people that, know deadlines and can remind you of things that are going like, oh, this is due today. So you have a group meeting. You're like, oh, thank you. Thanks for reminding me of that. I will say it does take discipline. Again, like I was at the airport working plenty of times on work. And I think communication is key. Communication with your group about, deadlines or updates to deadlines or kind of delays and expectation, and then communicating with your professors about, if there's a particularly busy season or if you, I don't know, kind of whatever is going on in your life. If you don't expect to meet a deadline, just being very upfront about it. And I think professors are very willing to kind of work with you. But it does require discipline and, using those mobile and laptop and, kind of on the go devices.
Yeah, Natasha, I think when we went through the program, I was surprised at how much it actually mirrors real work experience. When you're getting on these WebEx and trying to coordinate meetings, and you got people on the East Coast and people on the West Coast, and we had a member in Australia, and so we're all trying to coordinate schedules and get on the phone at the same time, and it actually mirrors what you see a lot more in the job environment than you would think. But I think it went really well, and the online and the travel, you got opportunities to work the work in when you could work it with your schedule, because frankly, if you had to be in class all the time, it probably would have not allowed me to go into the program just because of my work schedule.
That's great. Thanks, Roger. Thanks, Natasha. I have one final question that came in from a viewer. Said, since I have you guys here, one of the key components is faculty. Can you please speak to to your experience with the faculty and provide a little insight of who will be teaching my classes.
I was super impressed with our professors. The amount of knowledge that they had and then the ability to pass that on was fantastic. I remember economics, the subject itself wanted to make me like cry, but Janie was a great teacher and she helped us all through it. It was really hard, but she did it. And then you've got energy science that is just amazing and hard, but you have a teacher that's absolutely a genius and incredible, and I loved all of our professors. They were great. I felt really lucky that we got to learn from them.
I'll just add that I like that they all had work experience, so it wasn't just like the knowledge, but it was like, I've applied this at an energy company or, you know, in the industry. So this is both the theoretical and the experience knowledge. And so I think that was particularly valuable. And a lot of them are still working. So it's not, I mean, some of them aren't, but a handful of them are. So they're still actively using, you know, the tools and what they're teaching us every day. And so that, it's a nice connection, I guess, for me. So I really enjoyed that as well. Great faculty.
Yeah, I think the faculty was great. I mean, you know, and you bring new people in to teach different courses, and everybody's got a depth of work experience, and those stories really matter to make it real. You know, I really enjoyed all the faculty. One thing I will add though, and not to knock the faculty in the least, but you gotta go into this. You're gonna learn the most from your classmates and from the people in your cohort. You spend the most time with them, and you know, the faculty is awesome. But you know, if you go into this program, make sure you're having those good conversations with your classmates, having those beer conversations, because that's where you learn an awful lot about what makes other parts of the industry tick.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your insight. Roger, I think that's a really good point that you make. I think something that's really neat here is that we have alumni from from different eras of the program, and that they all had mostly the same faculty. Our faculty are very committed to the GEM program, and it is a community. And I think that really is a unique factor for our student experience in showing that our faculty truly care about what they're doing and they believe in what they're doing. So thank you guys for that insight. That's all the time that we have for questions. I want to thank all of our panelists. If you guys have any additional questions, please feel free to email them to me. I want to move forward with a couple final details of next steps for our upcoming start date in January. So again, thank you to all the panelists, and we will continue with a few final slides. A few slides here. I wanted to touch base on our key dates for the upcoming start date in January. So a few things to look forward to. Our next cohort weekend is going to be October 6th through the 9th. If you are available, we highly recommend that you take advantage and observe classes during this weekend. This allows you to really gain an insight of what these cohort weekends are like, what your classmates will be like, your faculty, and really provide you a real-life example of what to expect in the program. Also, not listed here, on October 6th, we'll be having a prospective student lunch at Ocean Prime here in Denver. So if you are local, we highly recommend attending that, as that will have students and alumni and faculty for you to talk with while enjoying lunch. I'll be sure to send everybody a follow-up email with information on all these key dates, along with application details as well. A few other dates. Our early action program deadline is coming up October 15th. We highly recommend taking advantage of this. This just provides additional incentives for applying earlier in the cycle. Some of these benefits are automatic book scholarship for the first 2 quarters, a special consideration for our new student scholarship and another factor is receiving an admissions decision 3 days after your admissions interview to help you with your planning and help you communicate that to your employer on your next steps. The scholarship application deadline, as I mentioned, that will be November 15th. You must be accepted into the program to qualify for that scholarship for the upcoming start date. And then the few dates that will be here before you know it is January 11th, 2018 will be your new student orientation. So that will be here on campus. That is the Thursday before the cohort weekend, where you'll get to spend that first day and really get to know your cohort and your classmates along with your faculty and staff as well. And then that first day of class for cohort 19 will be Friday, January 12th. So definitely keep those in mind. Real quick, just want to talk about the application process for you. So you'll start with an online application. And we definitely recommend starting that as soon as possible just to help you with planning. We do fill our class on a rolling admission basis, so we do accept students as they complete their applications, and that's how we fill our class. Within that online application, we will require 4 essay questions. There's a $50 application fee, a GMAT requirement, which I will talk a little bit more about in a second. 2 letters of recommendations, and then official transcripts from all universities that you've attended. With that GMAT requirement, the GEM program really values professional experience. So with 5+ years of experience in the industry, we will automatically waive that GMAT requirement. And with 3 to 5 years of energy experience, you can apply for a GMAT waiver to request to have your GMAT requirement waived. So this is really a beneficial factor in your process. As the program is so industry focused, we do highly value that industry experience. One thing to keep in mind is that you do not have to submit your entire application at one time. For viewing today and for registering for the event, we'll go ahead and waive your application fee until September 15th. I'll send a reminder email to all of our viewers and everybody that's registered for the webcast. And all you will need to do to take advantage of that is to submit our online application. The other documents can come in at a later point. After you submit that online application, I'll be your point of contact. And I'll make sure that you're up to date of what documents we've received and what documents we're still needing. After you complete your application, I'll reach out to you to schedule your admissions interview. That will be completed over the phone with our admissions committee, and that will give our admissions committee a chance to ask you some final questions about your goals and what you're looking to gain out of the program. To further determine that not only is the program a good fit for you, but are you a good fit for the program. This is also a good opportunity to get to know our team a little bit and ask some final questions. And then after that admissions interview, which is completed over the phone, you will receive your admissions decision. And like I say, with that early action program, we will get that back to you within 3 days after your admissions interview. So you will get a quick turnaround after your admissions interview. Again, I will follow up with everybody that has taken the time out of their day to watch our webcast today. I want to thank everybody for their time. Please look for my email and we can schedule a call on next steps. We can talk about how to take advantage of that application fee waiver and answer any additional questions that you have. Please feel free to reach out to me at any point, and I look forward to talking to all of you soon. Have a great day. Thank you.